What is going on, everybody? I am Jay. This is Dead Bob, the ghost with the most, the coolest co-host. And we are properly paranoid. And we're going to talk about something in a million years I never thought I'd talk about. And that is Alec Baldwin. I got to talk about it because everybody's missing one major part of the whole story. Okay? We all know that he said that he didn't pull the trigger. And that's BS too. And I'll tell you why real quick. We'll cover it real quick in case you don't know. With the type of weapon he was using, it was a single action revolver, a 6-shot. When you pull that hammer back, there's detents and it locks that hammer in place. It's got a quarter cock, a half cock, and a 3/4 cock. To engage the hammer to hit the firing pin, which would engage the primer on the bullet, which sends it down the barrel and out to whatever you're aiming at, you got to pull the trigger. But if you go back and you watch the interview, and he's given, details of every moment on set. He's handed the gun. She's directing him, and he's pulling the trigger back. Do you like that? Is that it? Is that it? And somehow, the perfect shot was with the gun aimed at her. The scene did not call for any gun trigger pulling, nothing. It didn't call for it. Which is weird. But folks, the weirdest part of it all, and nobody's even talking about it, is the fact that he says, well, what did you do when you shot her? Did you know you'd shot her? Oh, I didn't know for 45 minutes. And well, what'd you think? I thought, did she faint? Did she have a heart attack? Come on, folks. I want to set the scene. You're in an enclosed building. They were filming in a dilapidated church, okay? You got a gun in your hand. You're aiming it at the woman who fell. You let a hammer go. There's a loud bang. And there's a recoil from the gun. But you didn't know that you shot her? Not only that, it kills her, but that bullet leaves her and hits Joel Souza, the assistant director of photography, in the shoulder. Then he claims he went to the sheriff's office, and at the end of his meeting with the sheriff, they put a round on the table and they said, this is what we pulled out of his shoulder. And, oh my gosh, it was loaded? In all my years, I've never been holding a hot gun. Never. When you sit there and you tell people that you didn't know that she was shot, people are going to start, using their common sense, putting 1 and 1 together and getting 2. Folks, when that weapon is fired, guns have what you call a recoil. So when you aim that gun and you pull the trigger, it goes back, okay? A. B, guns are loud. I mean, in case I have to really spell this out for you, okay? But he didn't know that she was shot for 45 minutes. I cannot believe that everybody isn't talking about that part. Yes, people are starting to talk about it was a single action revolver. It is impossible for that gun to go off without the trigger being pulled. That is a fact. That is 100% fact, unless that gun was modified. But again, why would you modify a gun for a movie? Does that make sense? But the part that gets me, now hold on. They could have modified the gun. We don't know. We do not know. But what they're saying is it wasn't. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. But the part that is 100% complete BS that came out of his mouth was when he was asked, did you know you shot her? No. I thought to myself, did she faint? Did she have a heart attack? You shot her. How do you not know a gun goes off in your hand? How do you not know that? How is that, like, Did she faint? You were holding the gun that she got shot with. Guns go bang. They fire back. And folks, when you're watching the movies and you see these actors and actresses use guns in movies and you see the fire come out of the barrel and you hear the loud noise, all that stuff's added in post-production. Every bit of what you see is added in post-production. Fact. But the sense to sit there in front of the millions of people and tell them, did she faint? You're an idiot. You're an idiot. And you know, people in Hollywood, after Brandon Lee was killed during the filming of the movie The Crow, they have had tons and tons of safety protocols that it's mandatory. There is tons and tons of training. I mean, these guys are trained by former Navy SEALs, former cops. I mean, people that are just gun experts. It's not like they hand them something and say, oh, here you go. You just pull that trigger back right there and we'll do the rest. And just act like you know what you're doing. No. These folks are trained. They're trained by some of the best. They want the realistic looking stuff. They want them to look like they're a gunslinger. If they're playing a gunslinger, if they're playing a pilot, they want them to look like a pilot. I mean, let's look at Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise does all of his own stunts. He's a wild, crazy man, and he learns how to fly helicopters. He learns how to fly jets. He learns how to skydive, ride motorcycles. I mean, for the shot. But it's years and years and hundreds and thousands of hours of training. When the gun went off and hit her and then hit him and he's on the ground screaming, you know damn right well your first thought was, did she faint? You know damn right well that you had pulled the trigger to a gun that shot her. Fact. I mean, people aren't idiots there, Mr. Baldwin. And the other thing that is just, when they ask him, do you feel guilty? He had such a quick response. Nope. No, I don't feel guilty. No. I'm not responsible. Who is responsible is the one that put that bullet in the gun. I think you have a little bit of responsibility there too. With the type of weapon he was using, folks, it's so easy to see if it's loaded. I mean, hell, all you got to do is turn it and look down the cylinder. And you could tell if there's a round in it. I mean, you won't be able to tell if that round is engaged, but you can tell, you'll see air, you'll see light come through the cylinder holes. I mean, 2 seconds. And I'm not saying that he murdered the woman on purpose and there's conspiracy land. No. But you open the door to that when you sit there and you lie in front of millions of people. When you sit there and say, did she faint? And that you don't feel guilty, and that you didn't pull the trigger, when everybody knows that you had to pull the trigger on that type of a weapon. So now you're opening the door. You're opening the door for people to come and say, oh, it's a conspiracy. But the balls to sit there in front of millions of people after you just killed this woman and saying, oh, I don't feel guilty. And I didn't know she got shot for 45 minutes till I went to the police station. I mean, the interview was completely rehearsed. And there was probably 10 different lawyers there saying, oh, don't say that, cut. Mr. Baldwin, you can't say it like that. You have to say it like this. Cut, Mr. Baldwin. You're looking real freaking guilty right now, all right? Slow it down. And whoever let him do this interview, fired. Because, I mean, folks, this is just simple math. 1 = 2. And this is going to be a short video. We got a video coming up on China and UFOs. Are they responsible for UFOs? Absolutely not. And we're going to prove that to you. Coming up here in about 2 hours, the video will be up. Like, share, subscribe. Got anything to say, Dead Bob? He used an expletive towards Alec Baldwin. It begins with an F, ends with a K. Alec Baldwin. You don't like Alec Baldwin? He says, hell no. All right, guys. We will see you in a little bit. Happy Friday. And remember, guns don't kill people. People kill people.